Welcome to the Jim Bakker Show. I'm your co-host, Tammy Sue Baker, along with our assistant producer, Cora Krzan, my brother-in-law and our news correspondent, John Woodall, my wonderful brother, Ricky Baker, and my co-host and brother, Mando de la Vega. Today's very special guest, author and host of The Underground, Joel Richardson. Now, please give a warm welcome to my parents and the host of the Jim Bakker Show, Jim and Lori Bakker.
Welcome to day 2 with our very special guest, Joel Richardson.
If you look at the majority of young evangelicals today, they support gay marriage and we should all be able to love whoever we want and so forth. But where does it end? You know, you've got people say, oh, I was born a snake or a parrot, and I mean, just craziness. It's becoming insane. But when you separate a basic acknowledgement of the fact that we were all created in the image of our Creator, then all fetters are off. And the bottom line is, when conservatives come into power, they are terrified. They are terrified because their conscience is stricken and they will lash out violently. The rage is not ultimately, again, I'll say it again, it's not primarily against Donald Trump. People have legitimate reasons to protest. Their ultimate rage, the irrational rage, is against God and against His parameters, His bonds that He has, His claims over us as His creation.
What did you think about when the president was over in Saudi Arabia standing and addressing 50 Muslim leaders of the world?
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because that was pretty bold.
No, I mean, look, the contrast between this current administration in terms of sanity versus what we dealt with the past 8 years. Just look at this issue in Manchester. Okay, the mayor of Manchester, immediately after this terrorist attack, immediately declared that this one young gentleman that was arrested, the initial gentleman, he was not a Muslim. He had to come out and say he was not a Muslim, as if some probably secular British mayor has the right to define what Islam is and who's a Muslim and who's not. Now, according to this young man, he was a Muslim. He had openly hung an ISIS flag on his house. He had several Muslims, more moderate Muslims in his community, report him to the authorities multiple times. Now, were they Islamophobes? They were Muslims. They reported him for radical behavior. The authorities did nothing. Why? Because the problem is not simply radical Islam. The problem is this politically correct, irrational zombie spirit that is possessing world leaders, this politically correct spirit that's coming over people where they can't acknowledge the reality of that which is killing little 15-year-old girls at a concert by the truckload at this point. And so now we have a president who finally, President Obama, it was a White House policy. We will not call it Islamic terrorism. We will not use any of those terms. President Trump stood before the leaders, the presidents and kings of 50-plus Muslim nations, and he actually called it Islamic extremism, Islamic terrorism. Supposedly that was off cue. It just sort of came out. But he called them to the carpet, and he demanded accountability. Now, if we are ever going to defeat or come against radical Islamic terrorism, we have to at least be able to call it for what it is. But this denialism, because it's sort of blasphemy to ever say that, well, Islam might have something inherently violent in its doctrines, in its history, in its example of Muhammad, clearly it does. That's blasphemy, because the spirit of the age, the religion of the age, is religious pluralism, multiculturalism. And it's blasphemy to say that any culture or any religion is inferior to any others. And the bottom line is, again, as Americans, I forget who it was who said it, democracy is the worst form of government, except for every other one. In other words, until Jesus comes back, this is the best. What we have in the United States, we've fallen short in many different ways. Okay, I understand that, but what we have here in the United States is the best thing that we are ever going to see until Jesus himself is ruling the earth from Jerusalem.
That's right.
And this is something.
That's
conservative,
right.
liberal, we can say this is something. A lot of Christians say, I would die for Jesus. But it's, how many young Christians today in the United States would say, I am willing to die for this country. We just went past Memorial Day. You know, how many people, 30 or under, would say the principles that we have laid out in the founding documents of this country, I'm willing to die for freedom of speech, freedom of the right for my Muslim neighbor to be able to go to mosque. I mean, that's actually part of the freedoms that we have in the United States. But again, when that rage comes over people, they lose all sense of rationality, and their primary effort is to fight against Christians, to fight against conservatives, to fight against Donald Trump, and it is destructive to the values that we all actually agree on.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the fact that the number one that is being attacked by terrorism right now is the Christian evangelicals and Pentecostals? And there's thousands and thousands and thousands dead and being killed in the Middle East. And what are we doing about it?
Well, you know, I'll even add to that. It's not even just evangelicals and Pentecostals. It's all Christians. It's Catholics. It's Chaldeans. It's Orthodox. It's Copts. Now, here's the thing. Satan is not very discriminatory when it comes to his hatred and rage toward all Christians. Now, again, I'm a Protestant. I have issues of doctrinal disagreement with Catholics, etc., right? We understand that. But if Satan is not nearly as discriminatory, then maybe we should ease up on our sort of doctrinal. This is what blows me away. You'll have radical Muslims repeatedly kidnapping priests, attacking Catholic churches, and then you still have these Protestants that say, but the Catholic Church is the real problem. I'm going, come on, they're beheading people because of the name of Jesus, and you're focused on some historical doctrinal conflict that we had with the Catholic Church. Those things are all legitimate, but wake up and open your eyes. The beast, the system of the beast is right in front of us. And we have to come together, again, as Christians of all stripes, to cry out and say, Lord, give us a spirit of repentance and revival over this nation.
Yeah.
It's really very simple.
Yeah.
What did you feel as you watched President Trump's trip to the Middle East? You saw him there with the kings? He never bowed. They tried to make it say he bowed when they put a ward on him. I felt like the president was well received.
It was a grand slam home run. It could not have gone better. Listen, every time a politician goes over and gives some speech and speaks to the Muslim world, as a theologian, I go, no, George Bush, don't call it a religion of peace. Don't call it a great religion. Don't do that, But I go, but he's a politician. He's not a theologian. You know something? President Trump never said a single thing that I would go, no, don't say that, don't say that. He nailed it out of the park. Again, he went to the heart of the Muslim world.
He really did.
He went to Saudi Arabia, the very womb of radical Islam. And by the way, the primary nation that's funding radical Islamic terrorism all over the world. And he called them to the carpet. But I want you to pay attention. What did he do right before he went there? I mean, in the month leading up to that, he dropped on the ISIS militants in Afghanistan, he dropped a bomb called the Moab, the mother of all bombs. He launched, roughly 30 or some odd Tomahawk missiles in Syria. And then he goes right to Saudi Arabia. Again, the womb.
And he dropped it because they were bombing their own people with gas.
Right.
He had a reason to do
absolutely,
that, too.
absolute legitimate reasons.
So here's a man that all the jerks that are criticizing him, and forgive me, I'm going to call them jerks because I believe they are, but they all criticize him. And if they had to step out and lead our country and try to not make a mistake in front of the Arab world, they don't get it.
Right.
They're making like he's a buffoon, and then a comedian gets to do this. This is what we are teaching our kids. This is what they're watching. This is what the comedians are doing. Something's wrong in America. We need God, but we need some cultural change. Have we not trained our kids right and wrong, or being at least just normal, good citizens?
Or forget our kids. Think of the 20 and 30 and even young 30-year-olds. I mean, it's just, to summarize President Trump's trip to the Middle East, I would contrast it. When President Obama went to the Middle East, he literally, undeniably bowed before the Saudi king. And they denied it. The White House press, the spokesman denied it. You can watch the video. When Donald Trump went over, they bowed before him. They bowed before the United States. He showed them a show of strength. He established a center for countering extremism right there in the kingdom, and he called them to the carpet. He said, wherever radicals are, drive them out of your places of worship. These jihadis, drive them out of your nations, drive them off the face of the earth. And if you guys don't fulfill your obligation to do what's right,
several times, didn't he?
He held firm, and they put on a big show for him, and it was a grand slam home run. And if they don't fulfill their obligation, he goes, look, we can't do it for you. But if you guys don't do it, you saw what we did in Afghanistan. You saw what we did in Syria. We will hold you accountable. This is countering terrorism 101. If we want to begin actually fighting against radical extremism, this was the perfect foundation stone to start doing it. But the past 8 years, it's been a complete catastrophe. Now we're starting to get somewhere.
Yes.
This is a president who was selling and building real estate a year before. And we put him into the White House, voted him, and he's supposed to replace about 4,000, I think, is the ultimate number of people he's supposed to hire. And he hasn't done that.
Haven't been able to. They haven't let him. It's called the deep state. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Would you like to take a new business? Any business people here? Would you like to take a new business where just 4,000 alone are on your staff that you're supposed to replace with trustworthy people? I have 150 people working here, and God knows I've hired everybody in this county that wants a job. I can't imagine. How many of you think eventually work for the president? Millions. And what he's doing. And what are we doing? We're mocking him. We're stepping on him. We're cursing him. We want to kill him. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. We've got to wake up, and a house or city divided cannot stand. Here's a president, and you feel that he did pretty good in the Mideast then. I wanted to ask you about the trip a little bit more.
It could not have gone better. As far as I'm concerned, it could not have gone better. And, you know, again, he didn't kowtow. He didn't grovel. He didn't apologize for the United States. Right. He didn't do any of those things. Saudi Arabia, I will say this, they allow the hate preachers, the radical hate preachers, to flourish in their nation, and they are ideologically fomenting radicalism all over the world. But the government themselves, they're not attacking Israel. They're not attacking Christians. They are allowing it to take place. Iran, the government itself, is actually calling for the destruction of a nation. So, I mean, again, contrasting President Obama bowing before the king versus the whole Muslim world bowing before Trump.
Yeah, wow.
Trump nailed it.
Yes, amen. He really did. It was brilliant.
We will be right back after this special message.
We're celebrating our birthday, our anniversary.
56 years.
56 years as my anniversary of preaching the gospel.
Yes.
So I've been preaching for 56 years. And it's always on the 4th of July. Food for Health and the folks that develop this generating system, which is totally the greatest system in the world. And they call it the Independence Day Complete Generator Special. And the great thing about these deals is that there's financing available. But we have the $4,200 total unit. And that, of course, includes Generator 1 and Generator 2. This is the auxiliary unit. It connects together with this amazing, huge cord. Look at that heavy duty. That is what connects these two units. This is over 300 times more powerful than our last unit was. So what we're going to do today, just for the next few days, from now to the 4th of July celebration that week, we're going to give you a couple bonuses. So if you want the huge, this is the biggest generator that we know of its kind. that you can buy, but it charges with these solar panels. You can literally keep your refrigerator running a few hours a day to keep your food from spoiling. And it can run most washing machines now. With this double power, it can do so many things.
And it's triple powered, Pastor. We went from 600 watt hours to adding 1,200 more, so it's a total of 1,800. So it's actually, like you said, 300% or 3 times more run time.
Yeah. We have the base unit, which you can get for $2,000. And that's just this unit here. With the base unit of $2,000, you get a panel.
Yes.
You get this unit.
Yes.
And you can run power stuff. You can run all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yes,
off of it.
absolutely.
In fact, if you get this unit for $2,000, this is the base unit right there. You get that. You get the cord that goes to it, solar panel. Yes, you get the solar panel. But then only this special time at the 4th of July week and all, during up to the 4th of July week, you will get the bonus of a case of black bean burger.
Yes, sir.
In those last 25 years.
Oh, absolutely.
You get what else?
We've got a second solar panel in today.
So you're getting 2 solar panels.
Yes, sir. And finally, we've got this 1,000 lumen tactical flashlight.
That's a high-powered, that's a retail $80 flashlight that comes with it. I wish everybody could have one of these. I have one now at my house, and I love having it. This is 300 times more powerful than anything we've ever offered before.
The complete generator.
The complete set, $4,200. You get everything on this table. You also get 2 solar panels instead of 1.
That's right.
With the 2 panels, you can charge this up. It'll actually go to 3 panels.
And we can actually add a 4th panel, Pastor. Yes, sir.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but you can daisy chain them all together, 4 panels in a row.
So, but you double right now.
Yeah,
the sun power.
Yes.
So it charges twice as fast, basically.
That's exactly right.
Than 1 panel. So you get today, for our birthday celebration, you're going to get 2 panels with it, and you can get financing for this too, and you get a bean burger box.
Yes, sir.
But now I get to give you the crank.
Yes.
And this is so if the sun's not shining, it's raining outside, you can crank and make electricity by hand. And in the case of an emergency.
It really is, yes.
And then you get this amazing machine right here. This, you can cook with this.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's our 600 watt microwave, Pastor Jim, and that works extremely well. It works with this machine. But Pastor Jim, I do want to let you know that there's only 200 of those in, so that the first 200 people
that call right now,
they can get that.
If the first 200 people get this special microwave as well, okay?
Yes,
and then the flashlight comes with this unit too.
Yes, sir.
You get the case for the generator.
The EMP bag, yes, sir.
Anybody who has generators at home and doesn't have this 12-volt blanket, they need that 12-volt blanket. That is a must, especially if you live where it's cold. And then the LED light, that's...
These are little 3-watt light bulbs. There's a 3-light stringer, we call them. I call them 3-light stringer, but they're all individually controlled with this little switch right here. So you can have them all or you can have none.
Yeah, so there's 3 of the lights.
Yes, sir.
Which retails for $80.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we have the 12-volt electric blanket. We have the 3-light kit, the LED lights. We have the EMP bag, Generation 3. Yes, we have 25-foot extension cord to the solar panel. We have the new and improved carry cart.
Yes, that's back here, yes.
And you're saving $3,386. You're giving $3,386 value bonuses in this offer right now.
Yes. This is the best bundle I'm aware of that we've ever done.
So it's $4,200 for this amazing power and to have electricity, to never be in the dark.
So call 1-888-988-1588 or go to the website jimbakkershow.com.
The speech that he gave there, and where there was they called it an orb. Orb?
Yeah. Yes.
Orb, is that the name?
Right, yes.
And they were opening the Global Center for Combating Extreme ideology.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yep.
They were opening a center to stop terrorism, basically.
Right.
That extreme theology was their own religion. And its extremeness that killed other people. And so he was there. They timed this for him to be there. So what did our news people do? So they were standing in front of that center to stop terrorism, really, was the bottom line. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, they focused on the symbolism, the optics, the imagery, and
And it was a round globe.
Yeah.
the LA Times actually had an article, an op-ed piece by someone who says, I cast a spell on President Trump. This is not some weird, obscure
right.
blog. This is the LA Times is actually has a witch saying, I cast a spell on Trump, but yet they're upset because he touches a globe unifying with other Muslim leaders for world peace. And they say, well, it's a spell. Suddenly we have a problem with it. Hypocrisy, anyone? I mean, it's just, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
And really, most people didn't need to care. I mean, it was... I mean, do you?
Well,
am I crazy?
no,
I think people need to see the details.
But this is what they're doing. That book that you've got that you're reading, it's called See No Evil.
Yeah.
And it's in the book. They keep saying, they just saying lies and lies.
The whole
and
key
lies
is,
and
what
lies.
they do is the
and
whole key
everybody
is to
says
frame
the same
a lie.
thing on the other side.
Yeah.
Do you notice that? They all say the same evil. But people watching occasionally news and stuff, they're saying, well, they're all saying Trump is crazy, Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump is this. You know, monkey see, monkey do. You know, it's just what's going on. And America is going to suffer an unbelievable, terrible time. But never have we. This is too far today, and I'm just saying, let's stop the madness.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's stop the madness. This ought to be a signal to you. And if you could see this in person, this looks like President Trump with his head cut off. And they didn't care that his son, how old was his son?
11.
10, 11 years old.
Yes.
And he cried. What did he say out?
He said, Mommy,
Mommy.
Mommy, panic. I mean, it's unbelievable. We have changed the culture.
Did they kill Daddy?
Yeah. He was afraid that that was his father on the screen. He thought he was murder.
You know, God showed me there'd be attempts on the president's life, and I didn't like even saying it out. I shouldn't have never said it probably. But this is absolutely, this is setting an example. This is really an attempt. This is people saying, here's what we want you to do.
Yeah.
This is funny, so you could just do it. This is what's going on, people. And people get mad. Their rights are being taken away. This mad over this, mad. You know, I've never seen so many angry people that when you interview them, they're not sure what they're angry about, but they're just mad. He's not doing it right.
Yeah.
Joe, have you interviewed anybody or talked to anybody in the streets? I'm finding that they're mad. There's anger like I've never seen before. And they're angry against the president. But when it boils down to, they can't speak it out. They can't explain it.
It's spiritual, and there's a whole culture. They're feeding off of one another. The media perpetuates this irrational rage. Popular culture in Hollywood perpetuates this irrational rage. And then, you know, it's this snowballing thing. And you get, again, these 20-year-olds on the street, and you go, well, what about Hillary? She did exactly the same thing, or this, that. And they go, yeah, I don't know, blah, blah. And then they go, okay, so you really have nothing to stand on. They go, yeah, but anyway, blank Trump. I mean, I've watched some of these. And you go, okay, so you literally have no intellectual reason to underpin your rage, but it's hip, it's popular, it's cool, it's trendy. And this is, again, you know, speaking to the 20s and the 30-year-olds and the younger believers. You know, the idea is, oh, well, you know, just stop being so angry. You know, I'm 45, you know, all you conservative Christians, you're just so angry, you're just complaining. Listen, it's not an issue of if we change our attitudes, if we're nicer, if we're softer, if we soften the message, then we will represent Jesus better. Then they will like us. No. Jesus represented himself perfectly, and the world hated him. They crucified him. If we act more like Jesus, they will hate us. They will crucify us. It's not an issue of trying to soften our message. It's a matter of trying to speak the truth in love. There is a world that is embracing the spirit. It's called the prince of the power of the air. We are called to speak truth to power, the prince of the power of the air. And when we do so, they will want to murder us. If you want to be a disciple of Jesus, get that into your head. Unless you're willing to hate the world, Jesus said, you cannot be my disciple.
That's so good.
Powerful.
So powerful and so true. Oh.
What do you see is the great difference between the two presidents? Am I throwing you a curve on that question?
No, and I'll say something that'll upset a lot of people. But personally, I believe that President Obama most often meant well. I believe that his motives were most often pure. His problem, in my opinion, is that he was indoctrinated. He was raised under a radical leftist agenda. And so, I don't see him as this Manchurian candidate whose purpose and goal, even Rush Limbaugh have said, no, he was literally trying to destroy America. And they'll quote, he said, we want to fundamentally transform America. I believe that he did want to fundamentally transform it, not destroy it, but more after that leftist, anti-colonialist sort of model. But so, as
a Christian point of view, it would be quite destructive.
Yeah, absolutely be destructive. But I think in his mind, he sees himself. He sees himself as a good person. But he was indoctrinated against that under that radical leftist agenda. And so he sees virtually everything with regard to the United States in a negative light. Now again, and I've said this before, I have a mixed race, transracial family. I understand many in the African American community, the past couple of years during the elections, there was a lot of pain, legitimate pain, feelings as though this country in various ways has betrayed them. And so the white church needs to understand this. But nevertheless, we can all agree that no matter how much as a nation we fall short, the principles that we've established in the founding documents that we all stand for, they are the most superior, best principles that any nation has ever established. Again, freedom, equality, civil liberties. These things are worth fighting for, moving forward to, and burning the whole thing down is not going to be good for anyone. And again, this is what Satan does. He tries to say, fill people with a rage, fill us with division as a nation. And it's not, if we are divided as a nation, as you said, we cannot stand. And so this is what President Obama did, is he traveled around the world, he apologized, he groveled, he reinforced a purely negative perception of the United States. He didn't speak in a way of the United States that made people want to be proud to be an American. And that's exactly what Ronald Reagan did. And that's exactly what President Trump is trying to do, is to say, listen, this nation is still the best nation in the world. It doesn't matter who you are. This is something that all Americans, left, right, it doesn't matter. We can come together and say this is something worth unifying over and fighting for together.
But today, most college, the colleges, on the college campus, we're seeing them burning the flags. They hate America. And they walk out on the president, even the Catholic, great Notre Dame Catholic school. They walked out on the vice president while he was giving the commencement speech. I'm afraid we're heading in the wrong direction.
I was a fighter when I was in college because it made me so mad. You'd be going to this school and you have all these kids that come from all over the world, all these internationals, and they're sitting in class. And why have they come to the United States? Because we have a great education system. Why are they coming here? And then you have these liberal professors that are indoctrinated everyone with just purely in terms of how bad the country is. And I'm going, what the heck are you doing? Why is half the room internationals? It's because we have a great country. And this is the thing, and I've said it, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If President Trump, and I do believe that he is a believer, I do believe that somewhere along the line he had a conversion experience. I don't know exactly when it was, but if President Trump, as either a baby Christian or maybe this was at a point when he didn't even have the Spirit, he wasn't born again, but if he could stand before the liberal media with boldness and call them out and say, fake news, and just stand against the whole edifice of this whole liberal mainstream media, then by God, we as Christians can stand up, can face the spirit of the age and say, no more. We're not going to sit back. We need, again, to speak truth to power, the prince of the power of the air. It is the satanic spirit that is seizing the minds of this entire generation, and largely because the church is embracing the message of the world to the church. And I've said this before, the message of the world to the church is shut up and just go feed the poor.
That's right.
And all these Christians say, okay, we'll shut up. And the answer is no, we're not going to shut up. We're going to go feed the poor. Yeah. We're going to do the acts of justice, but we're not going to shut up.
Almost half of America is a conservative and half is liberal. Is my guess somewhere. We elected a president somehow, and I believe it's time for voices. You're hearing so many liberal voices standing up that the whole world thinks that the church is gone, that there's, it's not a fair race anymore. But I believe if the church stands up, we can see a revival, a move of God, and America coming back to where we're not burning our streets and burning our buildings and rioting. I want to go back to the Arab world for a few minutes on the Saudi Arabia trip. Jared Kushner, what happened? I don't think people know how unusual just to have him on the trip and in the palace of the king
in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
We explain that to us because of who Jared Kushner is.
Yeah. First of all, he's President Trump's son-in-law, is married to Ivanka, and he's Jewish. Ivanka converted to Judaism. Now, and I'm not sure the exact year, but it was roughly 10 years ago, might have been 15 years ago. It was on the books, illegal for any Jew even to enter the nation of Saudi Arabia. Okay, now they got rid of that law, but by and large, if you're Jewish, you don't go to Saudi Arabia, period. So Kushner is the one who actually, it was his idea, his brainchild, to set up this whole Middle Eastern trip. And it was a raving success. Again, I want to be very clear, hit it out of the park. But Ivanka, Jared, Melania, they show up in Saudi Arabia. Again, the most stringent Sunni nation in the world in terms of implementing Islamic law. Melania and Ivanka did not wear a veil, a head covering. All the women there have to be completely covered in black. They didn't do any of that. They didn't kowtow to that culture. And Jared, of course, being a very well-known Jew, showed up, held his head high. And this is what's necessary. Islamic Sharia law, which is what governs Islamic nations, or Islamic culture, is inferior to the principles that this nation is established on in our system of laws. And if we have to, and I've said this, we need to regain a sense of cultural superiority, because you can just point to any dozens of things inherent in Islamic law. The value of a woman's testimony in court is only half as good as a man's. That's evil. Our system of laws is superior. If we are going to win the cultural war, then we need to have confidence in who we are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so everything they did, every little detail, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was cheering it the whole way. And I think
So that was a victory.
it was a tremendous
That was a victory for Mideast peace. Really, an amazing, great first step at least.
And look at what President Obama did. Now, again, I'm not just trying to bash President Obama, but you look at him and Kerry. Just before they got out, what did they do? On the two Jewish holidays of Hanukkah and then Purim.
Yes.
Purim is, from the book of Esther, when the Jews have this holiday, they celebrate the death of Haman, the victory of God, defending his people, and that whole episode recounted in the book of Esther. Hanukkah is the celebration of the rededication of the Jewish temple after Antiochus Epiphanes. He came in, and this whole story, this is during the intertestamental period between the Old and the New Testaments recounted in the book of Maccabees, but he tried to wipe the Jewish people out. So on the two holidays where they celebrate the defeat of Antiochus Epiphanes and Haman, two of Israel's greatest historical enemies, President Obama and John Kerry, just as they were exiting, stabbed Israel in the back. If that is not a prophetic picture of what was going on throughout all of the administration in terms of undermining, belittling, disrespecting Netanyahu and Israel in general. That was a clear message as they're, pardoning all of these criminals, letting all these people, including terrorists, out of prison, releasing terrorists from Guantanamo who have then gone over and killed American and foreign soldiers overseas, but stabbing our ally, America, in the back. And then you look at the contrast. President Trump goes over there, stands before the whole Muslim world, calls them to the carpet, calls them, demands accountability in the war against terror, and then goes to Israel and prays at the Western Wall and puts on one of the most pro-Israel displays of any American president yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, the contrast could be not...
I really appreciate you being here today and giving us your view, because it is amazing. You say that a war with Iran is coming. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, I think the book of Daniel, and I've been talking a bit about this for the past few years, the book of Daniel addresses the principalities, these spiritual powers that have control over Persia, that's Iran. Persia is the ancient name for Iran. And Yavan is the Hebrew word. Yavan is the region of today Western Asia Minor. That's Turkey. Okay, so all the way back in the book of Daniel, there was this clash between these two parts of the world. And so then historically, you had Medo-Persia sort of burst out of the region of Persia, and then Alexander the Great came and responded. You had these two parts of the world clashing. Then you had the Romans and the Parthians. Then you had the Byzantines and the Sassanids. Then you had the Ottomans and the Safavids. Throughout the past couple thousand years, these two parts of the world have been clashing. I believe Daniel 8 tells us that in the last days, this repeated clash, I mean, it would be unusual if Iran and Turkey did not have another last days clash. And because of Daniel 8, I believe it's a prophecy that tells us what the next major Middle Eastern war is going to be. Iran is going to invade the whole Middle East. I've been saying this for a few years now. It's a very strong possibility. Let's put it this way. I'm not dogmatic when it comes to, I want to be careful. When it comes to end-time prophecy, we need to be careful. We need to be humble. However, right now, Iran has over 40,000 troops in Syria. Iran today controls the capitals of 3 foreign nations, Baghdad, Damascus, and Beirut, because in Iraq, the government of Baghdad is primarily Shia, thus they are beholden to Iran. Damascus, under Bashar al-Assad, is beholden to Iran. In Lebanon, Hezbollah is subject to Iran. Iran is more powerful right now than they have ever been in the past 100+ years. Okay, so Turkey, at the same time, is emerging as this expansionist nationalist. They want to revive the Ottoman Empire when they controlled that whole part of the Middle East. These two nations, once again, are fixing for a clash between the two-horned ram and that one-horned goat. And I believe that Daniel 8 may be one of the most significant prophecies that the church needs to be paying attention to right now as we watch these events unfold right before us in the Middle East.
That's amazing. Is that the war that Iran is preparing for right now, do you think?
Yeah, and when you look at...
You were saying, it was so crazy because you were saying about this, and yet they're the most well-prepared, but it's one big reason is because we gave them, what, $100 billion or some unbelievable amount of money?
Yeah, I don't know.
We helped prepare them.
President Obama essentially kicked the can down the road in terms of, rather than Israel was ready to militarily respond to Iran, knowing that presently the greatest threat to Israel's existence is a nuclear-armed Iran.
Now, somehow Israel, if they're going to survive, they feel they have to destroy Iran's bombing ability and their bomb-making facility.
Right, and so, generally if someone is promising that they're going to kill you, and they are developing the weapons necessary to kill you, the best thing to do is to take away their weapons. That would be logical. That would be rational. But President Obama, rather than allowing Israel to defend itself, stepped in with this big Iranian deal, again, kicked the can down the road, guaranteeing that Israel in a few years would have nuclear bombs, and in the process gave them billions of dollars, literally flew a plane and secretly filled with money. Now, I have friends, close, dear friends, in the underground persecuted church in Iran. What did Iran do with that money, these billions that we gave them, our tax dollars, to the Iranians? They hired thousands of secret police in the capital of Tehran to hunt down underground Christians. Our money is being used to hunt Christians and put them in prison.
Wow.
They hire college kids. They hire high school kids. You have to understand, Iran is like a mafia nation.
It's like hunting dogs.
Yeah, I mean, and a nation that's so poor, that's so destitute, and then you throw money at some college kid and say, if you report your neighbor, you'll get more money. It's very simple. It's the whole mafia principle, and this is what this wonderful deal that people praise. And then you have CNN's commentator Fareed Zakaria, and he goes on and attacks President Trump for giving Saudi Arabia weapons. Now, again, I want to be clear. Saudi Arabia is the very womb, ideological womb, of much of the radical Sunni terrorism. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all of these groups, they find their ideas from Saudi Arabia, from the preachers in Saudi Arabia. It's called Wahhabism. It's the type of Islam that ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all these different groups embrace. But the Saudi government is not going to attack Israel. The Saudi government is simply not doing what they should do to clamp down on terrorism, but they allow it because they're trying to maintain their little kingdom, their perverse kingdom, which is they're the kings of hypocrisy. They demand that all of their people conform to all these religious laws, and then they have their harems and their alcohol and their drugs and all of their luxuries, and they're trying to protect their little kingdom that they established. Okay, so there's no question that it's true that Saudi Arabia is the premier source of radicalism around the world, but the Iranian government themselves are the terrorists. They're actually committing themselves to destroy Israel, and those are the people that we arm. There's no contrast. Notice that all the left could never use the term radical Islamic extremism until President Trump gave weapons to Saudi Arabia. Suddenly, all of a sudden,
them, right? They bought them, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We empowered them. They bought them, and we got billions of dollars. But they're using those weapons not to fight Christians. They're using those weapons as a buffer against Iran. And again, Israel supports them in this. Israel is even joining with Saudi Arabia.
Because
and
if Saudi Arabia doesn't have accurate arms, they will be taken over, right, by another power in the Mideast.
Yeah, the Middle East is a very complicated thing. But look, Saudi Arabia on that whole
and we're
West
asking
Coast,
President Trump to figure all of this out, this whole world out.
He's done brilliant. He's done brilliant. I mean, to step into that.
Understand what he's saying? I mean, it's unbelievable.
It really is.
This goes back. Do you have family history at all? Because it's so difficult to understand the Arab world because it's not easy to understand. We think we can go in there and solve a war that's been going on for 10,000 years.
Right.
Is that right? They've been fighting each other for an awful
all the way
long
back
time.
to Abraham.
That's right.
But so just to lay this out, Saudi Arabia has about 30 million people. 1/3 of them are foreign workers. Most of the Saudi Arabians are living off of the kingdom's, free money. Yemen in the south has about 28 million people. They're dirt poor. They are being fomented by Iran to riot and rage. All of those oil refineries are on the west coast facing Iran. Iran's whole west coast is lined with silkworm missiles. If Iran takes out those oil refineries in Saudi Arabia is a problem. But if those refineries get taken out, the entire Western economy collapses. That string of refineries along that coast, the entire Western economy is dangling by that string. So don't think for 1 minute that it's not a good thing that President Trump is empowering the Saudis to defend themselves. Because when they defend themselves, we are actually defending our economy and our life as well. Our economy collapses, people die. It's very simple.
For those who aren't prepared
Right.
and have no food in their house,
Yes.
we have some special things, kind of a special offer for the 4th of July, our birthday time.
Right.
We have a lot of special food buckets.
We do. You know, Cora,
For starters. We have some starters.
well, we do. We were talking about it earlier. Cora was kind of briefing me on what our new food offers, and I think you actually said when we were going through it, the family gathering bundle is an amazing offer because you get the fruit variety bucket, the vegetable variety bucket, the gluten-free black bean bucket, the fiesta bucket, and the French toast kit. And we're calling that the family gathering bundle, which normally it's a value of $925, but it's just $450 for the family gathering bundle, which is 1 year and 4 months of food. You receive 2 bonuses of these brand new Frontier Bites.
We have the pecan, cherry, cinnamon, and then we have the macadamia, pineapple, coconut.
I'm going there.
favorite.
I'm going here.
Almond, blueberry, lemon.
Oh, that's
That one's my favorite.
that's your favorite?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Now, Mama
tell us-
Lori, you're gonna get 2 boxes of each flavor of those Frontier Bites. 2 boxes of each flavor,
Now
so you're gonna get a total of 6 boxes.
Okay.
And in each box, there are actually 6 envelopes of that product in there.
Everybody's having a sale.
Okay, now these are limited, and they're just for this birthday celebration, but these are healthy snacks.
There's literally only 8 ingredients in these. That's unheard of, unbelievable, wonderful.
Well, they're gluten-free, they're non-GMO, and like Tammy Sue said, just eight simple, healthy ingredients.
Yeah, you can feel good about eating them is what I love about it. And they really do taste so good, and they're just a great something, you know, if you're craving a snack and you want something healthy to eat, like this is perfect. I've been eating these the past few days.
The big thing, I think, for me, is it's 6 grams of sugar per serving. There is 5 servings, so you get 5 big chunks to eat.
But some of it is fruit sugar, too, because
It's all-
pineapples. So sometimes people think 6 grams of sugar, it's white. No.
That's right.
It's fruit. Fruit has sugars.
That's right.
No,
Right.
no artificial sweetener like sugar.
These are the bonuses for the family gathering bundle.
You know, a year of food usually is around $400 on our sale. Now a year of food is,
Nearly $1,600.
yes, the
Having right
food
now.
has gone up in value.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes.
gone back to the retail prices on our food deals.
Yes, sir.
And what is happening, a year of food
Yes.
was $400
Right.
last week,
That's right.
last month.
Right.
And now it's $1,600
Yes, sir.
and something for a year of food.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
The foods are going to go out of the sky. And if people don't watch it, the prices of food's going up, everything's going up.
Right.
And we have to go up when they go up.
We have to.
You
That's
know,
why.
And we fought it for months. We put together, with their help, some of this family gathering bundle.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's only $450.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And so that is a year and 4 months.
Yes, sir.
That is a tremendous saving. And when you get this food, you get the fruit variety bucket, 199 serving. You get a vegetable variety bucket, 109 servings. You get the gluten-free black bean bucket, 215 servings. The Fiesta bucket. And then we have the French toast kit, which was just developed last
John
month.
Cherry.
It's a $925 value. So you're going to save $475. And then you get this bonus of 2 boxes of each flavor of Frontier Bites.
Right.
And so there's macadamia, pineapple, coconut. There's pecan, cherry, cinnamon. There's almond, blueberry, lemon. And so you get 2 of each flavor. That's a box.
2 boxes of each flavor. Yes, sir. 2 boxes of 6 pouches per.
So there the boxes are on the screen in the picture, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, 6 pouches per box.
Six pouches of these. So you get these, all of this, and you're getting bonus on top of bonus. You're saving $475.
Yes, sir.
good.
Okay, now you have the new meal extenders.
Yes.
This is a John Shorey thing.
Yes.
John Shorey's going
We
to be
hear him
here.
talking about it all the time.
John's going to be here for the 4th of July for a whole week. He's going to teach every day.
You're going to make him stay on the 8th day. You said that.
That's right.
So.
Saturday.
That's right.
Going to go all the way to Saturday
That's
next
right.
4th of July. So, but here's the thing. This meal extenders is 1,837 servings.
Good.
There's almost 2 years of food.
Right.
So-
Right.
And extenders, they're like, put some water in the soup, Ma.
Yes.
Because we got company.
That's
you know,
right.
and that's what extenders are.
Yes.
And I think we ought to order one right now.
I do too. This
because
is great.
we've got lots of food stored away.
Right.
But when people drop in,
Right.
they can eat a lot.
Well, the extenders
Add
are.
some
You have to add
extenders,
some
that's right.
extenders like
Okay,
lentil bean bucket,
How many servings does that have?
386.
Okay, pinto beans.
432
Yes,
servings.
That's right.
These are extenders. You can put them into any of your other foods that you
Right.
want to make a soup or you want to make a stew
Stew.
or whatever. So then what's the next one?
White rice bucket,
How many servings?
405
I
servings.
love putting rice in things.
Yes.
And if you're making
absolutely.
a soup, you can just throw rice in it, can't
Yes,
you?
absolutely.
Especially
Right.
with liquid soup.
Absolutely.
I'm hungry today.
I can tell.
Then what is this vegetable stew mix?
It's just what it says. It's vegetable
Well,
stew mix.
the vegetable
But how many
stew-
servings?
388 servings, Jim.
The potato slice bucket. So what can you do with a potato slice?
Anything.
Eat it.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever you want to do. You can fry it up. You can boil it. You can add it to stew, soups, whatever you want to do.
The new meal extenders. These are extenders.
These are extenders, yes.
Or you can just, if you have other stuff in your yard, say you
growing
raise
chicken,
chickens.
yes.
That's, I think is a good idea. I
lot of
actually have
people
a
have
bunny,
chickens
bunny
now.
cages that if someday when things get bad, I'm going to raise rabbits. But you can raise chickens.
Yes,
But
you
then
can.
you have my grandmother. I watched my grandmother. She went out and she would do something,
Oh boy, ring the chicken.
ring the chickens.
Ring.
down. You ever
Oh,
hear
man.
old enough to remember that kind of thing?
That is,
Grandma would do that. And I thought, oh, my Lord. And Grandma go out, going to fry chicken. She had to go out and get the fresh chicken, walking
That's
around
fresh.
out in the
Yeah.
out in the yard.
That's right.
well, with the
But-
meal extender bundle, you also get a bonus
Yes.
as well. You receive 2 boxes of each flavor of the Frontier Bites
Yes.
that we all love so much, and that's macadamia, pineapple coconut, pecan cherry cinnamon, almond blueberry lemon, and they are wonderful. There are only 8 ingredients in
So
these.
you're
wonderful
getting 1
things.
year, 8 months of food, so for $550, and you're getting this set of 2 boxes of
and 6
each,
pouches.
Oh, 2
comes
boxes of
in
each flavor
each
Frontier
box.
Bites. So you got 6 boxes of the flavor bites,
Let's just say that.
and
The Frontier Bite, real food.
it advertises
100 calories per serving.
clean ingredient.
Yes,
I'm glad they're not dirty.
I'm glad they're not dirty.
Pure
It's
and
wonderful.
simple.
They're clean.
ingredients. Isn't that amazing? Well, this is something just special. This is not 25-year shelf life.
No, this is not. This is something
is
you're going to eat
eat now.
Eat now. Oh, the Fiesta Bucket.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Come on, Ricky. Let's do the fiesta. bucket.
Enrique, the Fiesta Bucket.
With what you're getting, you can make all types of different Mexican dishes, Spanish dishes. You get Spanish rice in here, which is a staple for every meal. You can have rice with enchiladas. You can have rice with burritos. You have it with tacos. Any type of Mexican dish, you might as well just plan on having
Okay,
rice.
freeze-dried chicken. This is real chicken.
Real chicken.
And you
There's
just add water. Refried beans.
refried beans. You have tortillas.
Ooh, tortillas.
You have scrambled eggs with bacon-flavored bits, which is great for all you
So you can have
bacon lovers.
It could be a Mexican breakfast.
Little
then.
Mexican
Yes.
breakfast, little Mexican breakfast for you. You have corn chips, enchilada red sauce, which is better than the green sauce, just for everyone's
For your
notice.
opinion, right?
No, it's not.
You have
That's okay.
it is. You have fajita seasoning, cheese sauce, shredded cheese,
And now listen, that cheese, you add water and
it rehydrates for very,
you
very good.
rehydrate it, and it becomes cheese, and you pour it over your stuff. So you have cheese sauce and shredded cheese,
Yes, they're two different things.
and then you have salsa.
Salsa.
Yes.
This is a $155 value. It's $100 today,
Wow.
and you get a bonus. What's the bonus?
You get a 1 box of Frontier Bites.
We have Joel Richardson's books available for you here. We have a book bundle, which is a very special package of 3 of Joel's books for a gift of $50. And this is the original one that we got our hands on. And we also have the Mideast Beast by Joel Richardson. These are beautiful books, by the way, I must say. I think we have a nice hard copy. Mystery Babylon, Unlocking the Bible's Greatest Prophetic Mystery by Joel Richardson. So all 3 of these 2 hardbacks and a paperback, you receive for a love gift of $50 to the ministry. So call right now, 1-888-988-1588, or go to the website, jimbakkershow.com.
This is the book package for everyone who wants to know what's going on.
Yes.
This is amazing because there's 2. I'm a collector of books. I have a very large library just around the corner here, and these are, you're really getting like a book free.
Yeah.
These are about $26 books.
Yes.
These are the hardbacks. These are great books for collectors that really love books. And so you're getting 2 of his great first edition hardback books, and then you're also getting his great bestseller, The Islamic Antichrist. It really is 3 amazing books that you should read. Our time's gone for today. We hope you'll be back tomorrow. And remember to order your products 24 hours a day. They're open all the time. People think we're not open at night or not open in the morning. It's open 24 hours a day, and it's toll-free. 1-888-988-1588. Toll-free, or go to our website, and it's always open, at jimbakkershow.com. Or you can write us. Where do you write?
You can still write at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615.
Everything you order is what keeps us on the air. That's how we're supported. Remember that God loves you.
Yes.
He really does. Bye-bye for today.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe Richardson, for being with us today.
Coming soon to Morningside in the Jim Bakker Show. David Horowitz, author of The Big Agenda, will be here at Morningside on Thursday, June 8th, Tuesday, June 13th. Preparedness expert Ray Gano. Perry Stone will be here Thursday, June 15th. Pastor Frank Amedia returns on Tuesday, June 27th. Mike and Cindy Jacobs return to Morningside on Tuesday, July 4th. Our friends Pat and Karen Schatzline will be back at Morningside on Wednesday, July 5th. Tom Horn, Jennifer LeClaire, Donna Howell, and Derek Gilbert return to the Jim Bakker Show on Friday, July 7th. Don't forget our annual 4th of July celebration, July 1st through the 8th, a Morningside tradition. Come on out and join us for music, worship, ministry, teaching, prophetic words, and so much more, with guests like John Shorey, Bill the Junkman Whaley, QB Sin, and many more. Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis will return to Morningside Friday, July 28th. We're honored to have evangelist Alveda King with us Thursday, August 24th. Author and prophet Rick Joyner will be sharing a powerful word. Join us every night at 7 p.m. for The Prophet Speak, an evening filled of worship and ministry. For our full schedule, go online to jimbakkershow.com. We can't wait for you to see what God's doing here at Morningside.